Hello, everyone. In this video, we're going to talk about building product tours using the callouts capabilities and the UiPath in 2023.4. So let's see what we're going to build. This is the wikipedia.org website, and basically the automation that I've built is going to show you around the UI of Wikipedia. More exactly, it's going to show you, how to search on Wikipedia, how to change your language, or how to download the Wikipedia mobile app. Obviously, this is just an example. It could be done on top of almost any application, be it a website or a desktop application. So let's go ahead. I'm here in studio. We're going to walk through the process in a second. But before we do that, I will just run the automation, and we're going to see it running and see it in action. So what it does first is going to show a form. It's like a welcome form. I hit the Let's Go button. If wikipedia.org is not already opened, it will open. If not, it's just going to attach to it. And now we have our first call out. So this first call out is linked to this particular section of the page. It tells me that, hey, this is the home page. I also learned that there are 5 steps in this walkthrough. I can go next, I can go back if I'm on a different step than the first one, and I can also skip the whole product altogether. So now I'm going to hit next. Next, the callout moves to the next section. It tells me that this is where I change the language. Hit next again, tells me, here's where you can type. You can see that the field also gets highlighted as I do that. I hit next. It tells me, where I go to click for the search, click the search icon. I can also go back, right, if I want. So I can go back and forth through this through this wizard, this product walkthrough. And then next, at the end, we have the last step, the 5th step. It tells me, hey, this is where you can download the mobile app, right? And if I click finish, the automation will stop. Now let's look at how this was built. This is my main file. The first thing we do, as we've seen earlier, we're showing a form, is the welcome form. I actually have it here. Under welcome, this is the form, is just a text and a button, really, nothing more. And then it's going to read from a CSV file. The CSV file here, this is where actually we have all of our steps. Okay, so let me open the CSV file. Open with, let's see, I'm just going to open with Notepad. Okay, what it has here is basically a CSV with 2 columns. One is the selector, so which is the element that we're attaching to when we're showing the callout. And then the actual message that we want to write. The selectors, you can get them using UI Explorer, or just indicating, if you know how UiPath works, it should be pretty obvious. Okay, so these are all the steps. I have 5 steps here, 5 UI elements defined by identifiable by the 5 selectors, and then the actual message that we're going to show up in the callout, right? So we're reading the CSV file, and then I'm caching the number of steps. Number of steps is going to be equal to the number of rows that we have in our CSV file. Once we've done that, you see here that continue workflow execution for the first form is set to false, off, meaning that the form is going to show up, and only when I click the OK button is my workflow going to continue executing. I'm using the browser, I'm going to wikipedia.org, and then I have here a parallel sequence. And in parallel, what I'm doing, I'm showing the first call out, okay, by calling the show callout activity, but I'm also running our local triggers. The local triggers, I have triggers for when you click the next button, the previous button, finish, or skip. And actually, you can see them here. You can see the trigger icons next to these XAML files. These are the actual triggers that we're going to show. So show callout, let's open this workflow. Show callout, what it does is that it's going to wait for a specific element to appear. And in our case, it's going to look in our, open in advanced editor, okay. It's going to look in our current row, get the selector, right? So this is how it's going to identify the element, and it's going to save the found element in a local variable called EL. It's going to assign the text to the same thing. We'll look at that current row given the current step variable, right, which is a global variable. It's going to get the message, and then if the form is already opened, it's going to close it. And then there's a bit more logic here, whether I want the next button to be visible or not, whether I want the back button to be disabled or not. And this is logic that I've done in the callout form itself, right? And ultimately what I'm doing is I'm just showing the callout, and then I'm highlighting the element that we're targeting so that it has that nice golden border around it, right? And if not, what is this else corresponding to? If if I don't find the element, then we just break out of everything, right? It means that something went wrong. We're just going away. Okay, so let's look at the callout itself. The callout itself, it has the message on top. Right now it just says loading. This is the default value. It has the back button, the next button, finish and skip. The back button has a is disabled hidden field, and this is the one that we're passing when we're showing the callout. And the button itself, if I look at it under logic, okay, you will see that it is disabled when this particular field has the value true, right? And this is how we're disabling it. The next button, there's a visibility hidden element here. And if I go here under conditional, you can see that this component is visible. If next is visible, the variable, the hidden variable that we're sending is true, right? So this is how we do show hide for this, and finish button is the opposite, obviously. So nothing crazy. Step here, the step is 1 of n. When we show the callout, when I have my, where is it? My show callout activity, okay? If you open the arguments, you will see that, for example, the step input argument says current step of number of steps, right? So this is how we calculate that. And by the way, current step and number of steps, those are global variables. I can go here under the data manager, global variables, and you can see them here. So current step, number step, and our data table with all the step selector and the message. Now what happens when I click these buttons? For example, if I click back, it's very basic. I assign current step to current step -1. So I go to the previous step, and then I call show callout. When you hit next, it's obviously the same thing. Current step is current step +1, and then we show callout. I think we have an extra right line here from when I was doing some debugging. If you choose to skip, what happens is that we close the callout, and then we stop all the local triggers. Remember, stop local triggers. In the main file here, we have run local triggers. When you stop all of them, this activity exits, and then basically your automation is going to be completed as well. So that's it. I mean, really, clicking finish, obviously, similarly is going to close the form and stop local triggers, right? That's really all it is. It's not that complicated. I think it's quite powerful, built with the existing callout capabilities. So nothing fancy in terms of packages that I've used. I have system activities, UI automation, callout activities, form activities, and the Excel activities for interacting with the CSV file, so that I can read from the CSV file. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching.